When you're establishing your care level or your care points or how often somebody checks in on your mom or dad, at least in the first 2 weeks, have it be higher than what you think is needed.
Hmm.
Because then they will have someone teach them which hallway to go down to get to the activity room, to get to the library. They don't know where the library is. It might be something that they're really interested in, but they don't know how to get there. And I don't know about you, but I keep my pride and I don't want to look stupid.
Hmm.
Welcome to the Answers for Elders radio show.
And welcome back, everyone, to Answers for Elders Radio Network. And I am here again with Daphne Davis from Pinnacle Senior Placements. And we're talking about how to just get started, that checklist to moving into senior living and what it's like. But Daphne, you and I talked about values. We talked about, obviously, the questions that you ask, how you tour, the differences between having to do it on your own as opposed to working with somebody that is a placement advisor. And I want to go into, first of all, to tell everyone that we have a 6-part series on YouTube with Daphne that is available up on YouTube. And it is a powerful time to take a look at just this process of working with a care advisor like Daphne. And I think one of the things that we want to talk about in this last segment that we really didn't touch too much on in the 6-part series. So I really want to talk about integrating into the community. You touched on it before, just that routine disrupted of getting up in the night, right? And furniture walking. And what is that like? It's everything is going to be different. So Daphne, I remember when my mom moved in, she was calling me like every day for something. And I was trying really hard to, I was if anything, I was working harder than what I was when she wasn't in senior living because I felt so guilty about all of those things that I was dealing with. I'm sure that's very common, is it not? We lost you. We lost you.
Do you have me now?
Yeah, I have you now.
Okay, you are right. It is very common for people to feel like they're doing more now that mom or dad has moved from their home. And that has to do with just all the changes that are happening and like you said, the guilt that as adult children we can feel and we want to make things right. We
Hmm.
want it to be successful. Well, here's a big news flash. Your mom and dad are adult human beings, and they're going to go to the place that they're most comfortable with, which is usually their family. And
Hmm.
now they need to learn how to trust somebody else.
Yep.
They need to know the mechanisms of how to push that button so that someone comes to their apartment if they're in assisted living or independent, or if they're an adult family home. And at this place, I really want to tell you, I love adult family homes or residential care in your state, whatever it is. If there's a cognition issue, if there's a need for ready on the spot care, don't don't close the door to that option
Right.
because they're not behind a closed door. And now your mom or dad has to figure out, okay, I'm going to push this button. It's going to take anywhere from 3 to 10 to 15 minutes for someone to get here. And I need to plan for that. And so that's a part of what they need to learn. Here's the
Hmm.
integration piece that needs to happen in a large community, in my opinion. Have more care than what your parent may need. Have more touch points, have a 2 or 3 hour check for 2 weeks, have escorting services, have someone come to them and tell them, hey, it's bingo at 2 o'clock, and I know you met Patty at lunch today, and she's there. I'd love to have the two of you spend some time together. Can I take you down to bingo? It's that kind of integration that needs to happen from the community, not from you saying, well, mom, you have the calendar. Look at it. Look at the
Hmm.
clock. You can get out the door and everything will be fine and get
I'll
yourself to
take you to
bingo.
lunch outside the community. Not that that's not a great thing to do, but what you're doing is you're countering
You're
what?
going against the flow of them developing new habits.
Yeah.
And that's the bottom line is developing new habits. Think about the best scenario I can give to you is if you've changed jobs and it's similar industry and you used to do it this way at the other place and now you do it this way at this place. You don't go back to the old place and say, can I
Right.
bring this over to here. No, you got to learn the new way. Mom and
Right.
dad got to learn the new way.
Good.
But
Very good analogy.
have enough care. So when you're establishing your care level or your care points or how often somebody checks in on your mom or dad, at least in the first 2 weeks, have it be higher than what you think is needed.
Hmm.
Because then they will have someone teach them which hallway to go down to get to the activity room, to get to the library. They don't know where the library is. It might be something that they're really interested in, but they don't know how to get there. And I don't know about you, but I keep my pride and I don't want to look stupid.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah. And
Do the care well.
obviously, when you move into senior living, you don't need the things that you had in your home. So there's this whole thing where working with somebody like you, you're not going to overpack. I know that we've talked about, I think before in previous, that take the bare minimum, rent a storage locker for things that they might need, and then just add them a little at a time if they find that they need them. You and I have talked about that.
Great point of transition. That can be very hard. I just recently had a woman that says, "Nope, I'm not moving because I'm not giving up my desk." And she literally didn't move. And she could not imagine not having that desk. No other desk was going to work. My suspicion is that was her reason to get around her fear.
Hmm.
And it was powerful enough for the daughter to not get through it.
Hmm.
Nonetheless, it's a good point that says, Mom, it's not gone. If you need to have that curio cabinet and we've got a space for it, we're just not going to bring it right now. Let's figure out if you've got enough room to get around.
Hmm. Hmm.
It's a great way of transitioning to in the downsizing world.
Yeah,
It
yeah,
can be very challenging.
yeah. And like you said, it's that one thing that may be fixated upon, but
Mhm.
it's really not the thing,
It's
right?
not the thing. It's the fear
And
behind it.
yeah, and Daphne, we had talked just briefly too. I think the main thing is that we as adult children need to sit back and continue to be that adult child.
Mhm.
Once mom or dad moves into a, senior living organization or adult family home or whatever that is, you know, that care goes to the staff and we have to learn to back off. And I think that's one of the things that is the hardest things for
It
families.
it is the hardest thing. And how to balance that in your own mind is maybe talk to the nursing staff in your care conferences and establish with your loved ones
Mhm.
sitting in that conference that says, Mom, let's establish on this day, at this time or this time, whatever works for you. But 2 or 3 days a week, I come by to see you.
Mhm.
And then and I know how our weeks are going to go. And you have the freedom to fill up all the other time because you don't have to worry about if I'm going to call or if I'm going to stop in. You can count on
Absolutely.
me at a particular time. That alone gives value to both you and your loved one.
Thank you. And Daphne, I want to thank you so much for being on the show this week. And remember, by working with a senior placement advisor, it makes it so much easier for you. You're not, stressing yourself out over everything. And Daphne, in the meantime, how do people reach you?
You can reach me specifically at 855-734 1500, and I am on the West Coast in the Washington state. You can
Mhm.
also visit me at pinnacleseniorplacements.com and find all kinds of information on our website.
Did you know that you can discover hundreds of podcasts in our library on senior care? So visit our website and discover our decision guides that will help you also navigate decision making. Find us at answersforelders.com.